Hello and welcome back to the port. I'm the Graf Major and this is Sea Trials. Sea Trials is your game submissions with my commentary and some tactical overlays, either showcasing some good plays or highlighting where um, people could improve slightly or a little bit like that. Now this is a submission by Ekizoon in his Tier 5 German Premium Cruiser, the Graf Spee. On the enemy team, we have an A-caster in the division with a Ganga, a Mahan, a Monty Kuli, Omaha, a Lagazianaire, a Congo, a New Mexico, and New Mexico. And on the friendly team, we have a Matsuki, a Gaidi, a Kirov, a Monty Kuli, Emily Batan, Ekizoon, his Graf Spee, Nikolai the First, a Fuso, and an Arizona. Now, this is obviously a tier 4 and 5 game of domination on New Dawn. And so we're starting in the centre. Now, the first thing to note is that on the enemy team, I think you might need high explosives more often than not, simply due to the number of battleships and destroyers. Obviously, there's a couple of plays you could do. Go straight into B, or you could go over to A, or you could go over to C. Just highlighted on the minimap then. The couple of alternative routes that you could go. It looks like Ekizoon is heading directly into the Bravo objective, which is fair enough, being that that is the direction that the friendly Matsuki is going. Now, as you're getting closer in, I'd like to get that spotter aircraft launched in order to get some spotting off the bat. And being it lasts 6 minutes, it's not exactly like you're going to be saving it for anything. So there it goes, off he goes. Enemy Congo spotted, and he's nose on. So this is where. So when I look at the enemy team, I always look and think what would be the most likely situation I need my initial ammunition in. However, although the first volley of AP onto the Congo doesn't really yield that much, I mean 6,000 damage, it's not too bad. There's an enemy Omaha there which could possibly be exploited. However, we're getting an island indicator, but you'll note that there's a number next to the island indicator, and that's how far away that land is. So when you note that that number is less than the target, it usually means that it is an island between you and the target. But other times, sometimes if there's an island behind the target, you'll still get that indicator. So sometimes it's worth just checking the distance on that number. Obviously, the island indicator, it can be a bit bugged sometimes, because obviously if you're behind an island yet they're also next to an island, that number will only match up with their island until you're fully past the island. Now there's a good one where he's firing at the deck line of the Congo. So again, acknowledging that he only has 11-inch guns. Yes, he's a cruiser, and so aiming for that thinner upper band of belt armor / deck armor and getting the armor piercing to try and penetrate through there. Now there's the island indicator. It's only stationary 10 kilometers. However, some of the shells do clip the island, so that's where that's the kind of bug that I was kind of highlighting. Now here we know there's a smoke screen from the Monty Kuli, so getting the sonar on would be a good timing about now, because the Graf Spee does have a very aggressive sonar, and therefore she probably would be able to pick her up. However, he's getting shot at on the Lagazianaire. So there's the Monty Kuli. I am trying. And yeah, she's broadside on, so time to take advantage of those citadels. Obviously, having the sonar on also means that you can detect those torpedoes coming in, and because they're Italian torpedoes, they are slow, really slow. So you got plenty of time to respond to those, and you can see they're going to pass well to his bow. Now for his Graf Spee, he has taken the following modules: aiming systems and steering gears. Looking at the map, we can identify there's 3 kind of battles going on. We have the southern battle round at Charlie, where it looks like the friendly team will have an advantage. It's a bit of a battle in the centre, where it's kind of like one cruiser versus one cruiser, taking advantage of the broadside Congo, very nice. And then there's also that northern battle, where there's one where the enemy seem to have the advantage. So I can agree with obviously continuing the central battle, but also pushing up to the north at the moment. Here's the Lagaznia. Now, what I find with the French cruisers is just due to their really paper-thin armor piercing from when they're broadside, just seems to go straight through them. However, with the Graf Spee, what I've noticed is high explosive really punishes French cruisers. So when there's a broadside French cruiser, I'd be very tempted to go for high explosives, unless, as per an example later on during this video. Now, obviously, looking at the minimap, there is an enemy cruiser to Ekizoon's starboard broadside, so he has got to take that into account. So just a little bit of minimap awareness there as we're going along. Now, one thing I note from watching Ekizoon's gameplays from this submission and another submission he sent in is that he does play with his throttle quite a lot. So I'm just going to put it out there. Have you considered propulsion modules? I mean, the question is, are you taking steering gears because the steering's horrendous and you want to improve that for just in general, or do you think maybe taking propulsion mods might help with your kind of gameplay as you go? Took a nasty Citadel from the New Mexico, so here it's time to turn in, get yourself angled against that New Mexico, but also I think you need to try and duke it off with this Omaha. Now, the good thing about the Omaha is she's just thinly plated all over, but she's also the armor's thick enough so that she's going to be Citadeled all over, so you're going to be able to overmatch that Omaha no matter what she does. So just keep pounding her with AP and you should be able to get rid of her really nice and quickly. Now, for his commander, he has taken von Muller, and the traits he's gone for are Beyond Range, Igniter, Punch Through, Fixated, and Fully Pack. Inspired by Madden for turret traverse speed and rate of fire, along with Jellicoe just to try and buff up some of that HP. Now here there's two ways he could go. He could either push into the alpha objective and be aggressive, or he could turn away. Now, here he correctly chooses to be aggressive. The reason why I say it's the correct choice is because he has so much support from his team. Not right now, but just in general, they outnumber the enemy ships. His team should be in a good advantage position to kill these ships as the game progresses, and so if he pushes in, he can slow them down. The only time that wouldn't be a good decision is in a situation where the things are quite tied, or your team's got quite a lot of lack of HP, so therefore maybe breaking away and dragging the game up might be better. Then that's the perfect situation to Citadel a French cruiser. As you saw highlighted on the screen, the French cruiser Citadel is quite far forward, so if you can guarantee your AP is going to hit that location of the ship, then you have got a good chance of being able to Citadel the French cruiser. Otherwise, I'd usually go for a HE. Now here, the island indicator distance matches up with the Ganga, so I think actually at least one of your turrets can sneak through. So you could maybe take advantage of that shot. However, you're firing now, but then ironically, I think just using the German dispersion, you do end up clipping the island with your rear turret. So we have a New Mexico and a Ganga, and then the Lagaznia is now starting to sneak up behind the island. So let's get rid of that Lagaznia there, simply because the Lagaznia there, if you remove her, you're going to get rid of that DPM. 2 fires for rightfully getting that damage control party off. And even if it's just an overpen, the Lagaznia has such low amount of health that even an overpen with the damage assigned to it is good enough. Here again, you're close range to the New Mexico, using AP, aiming at the deck line. Just because the New Mexico does have quite a hefty amount of armor, getting those torpedoes out, don't blame you. So the enemy's down to 2 ships, while your team still has 6 ships. So again, this is another reason why it's good to go for the aggressive. Now, the Ganga obviously has thinner armor, so aiming slightly lower down the armor belt, getting himself a Citadel, very nice. Unfortunately, this does look like the end of the game, and unfortunately, there you go. However, torpedoes make their mark, earning himself a nice little Kraken. So quite an enjoyable game, getting himself 111,000 damage. So, all in all, quite good. I think there's a couple of places where there could be slight refinements. However, it's easy for me to be wise after the moment. So, obviously, take some of the things that I've said with a little bit of a pinch of salt. But the only thing I can probably say is, do you think it might be worth changing from steering gears to propulsion mods? Just noting from your gameplay, you do use a lot of acceleration and deceleration, so propulsion mods could be a slightly better choice, unless in your mind you've justified steering gears because of the steering systems. Then then continue with that. That's fine. Going on to your command build, nothing really to comment on here. I might be tempted to say look at Lucian's as a commander if you have him. The reason being is you do use a lot of armor piercing, whether that's by nature or by choice. However, I think using Lucian's for the improved armor piercing shell damage would be actually quite a nice little trick for yourself. So that'd be something that I would look into. Now, obviously, going on to the end screen, we can see that he's managed to get himself just a Flesh Wound, Confederate, Kraken Unleashed, Devastating Strike, and High Caliber. So, all in all, a lovely collection of medals. Also, getting himself quite a lot of ribbons and 111,000 damage. So, quite nice to get that kind of end result in the Graf Spee. Admittedly, you were top tier, but then again, being able to take advantage of that is always a good thing to do. Obviously, making himself a lot of ship XP and coming in top of the board with nearly 1,000 ship XP over the next best player on his team. But yeah, all in all, it looks like his team did all right. They've all got over 1,000 ship XP. And the enemy team, well, they did what they could, I guess you could say. Going on to the economy screen, obviously, the Graf Spee being a tier 5 premium does mean that she has a reduced ship service cost, which also means she does make a very good moneymaker. And looking at the total credits made, obviously only 2,709,000 credits with a 20% rare credit booster. Is quite a decent amount of profit, really, and you would have made a profit regardless. Obviously, with premium, you would have made a bit more, but that's basically the shiny stuff of the premium account, I guess you can say. But all in all, a great submission, and I did enjoy watching both your submissions, and I do look forward to featuring the other submission on the channel in the future. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe or check out some of our other content. If you're already a subscriber, I'd like to say thank you very much, guys, for your comments, your contributions, very much like this one. These community spotlights on Monday wouldn't be possible without your submissions, so I am eternally thankful to you for providing them. It's always much appreciated. If you'd like to support the channel, then our link to Patreon is down in the description. And if you'd like to make your own submissions, then our email address is also down in the description. Until next time, I'm the Galloping Major, and back to the port.